Hey guys, it's Multimedia 7 here to do a channel message. Obviously, the channel message isn't going to be named Grasshopper, but it should. But, that's too vague. I got something good to talk about. I don't know how it exactly correlates, but God was like, I can come and do the message just as is. I guess I'll start. Alright, come on in, come on in. Start this message. Alright, how ironic. I didn't plan on doing the channel message today, obviously, because it's 9/11. But then I learned something from these notes that I wrote down literally just a few minutes ago. Because now, since I'm doing a channel message on the day of 9/11, the memorial of 9/11. Yeah, we ain't doing that again. I realized something about the date. 9/11/25. Obviously, this is this year. 9/11 been going on since what? Since I was like in kindergarten. Like we've been like the memorial of 9/11 has been going on since myself was in kindergarten. Was I in kindergarten? Or was I in 5th grade? Well, let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure I was in kindergarten around that time. Somewhere between kindergarten and 2nd grade. Just saying. Whatever. So, 9/11, right? 9 in regards of gifts. 11 in regards of prediction. So that means first and foremost, let me just say something before I say what I gotta say. I banish and rebuke all unclean spirits. What are you talking about? Now, that was said, since the gift of prediction. So that means today, every year on 9/11, for whatever reason, intuitives, especially in the spiritual community, they're giving out some legit messages on this day, like just because of the numerology of it all, the astrological placements of the day, everything. Maybe that's like a message for somebody specific, but I just found that interesting to know. Yo, I'm about to tell y'all what I see. Hold on. Literally, as I'm doing this message, y'all, like, it's two men just came in with doing construction, whatever the case may be, I guess, 2 doors. And in regards to American Heritage Society, what doors represent, especially from them Dreamcatcher messages, doors represent miracles. Walk into So we're gonna learn 2 things specifically at minimum from this message. I guess the first thing is that every year on 9/11, listen out for what psychic message. I don't know if you get psychic readings. I don't know if you go to somebody or you just happen to be in a tarot or a channel message, intuitive messages like the ones I be giving out. 9/11 the day to look at the messages, because what's also interesting, like not to be rude on such a day for the vets and stuff like that. But tarot moment. If you're into tarot and stuff like that, the tarot moment is when like either something really bad happens to somebody or something really bad happens so something good can happen. You know what I'm saying? So take the message how it resonates. So I'm gonna talk about what this was like a couple months ago, y'all. Like, so on some couple shit. A few things. So, me and my significant other hosted a get together, a party not too long ago, right? Yo. So back to what I was about to say. Ooh. So yeah, so a few weeks ago, me and my significant other, unbeknownst to me, we hosted a get together party, right? At the get together party, um, food, drinks, games to be played. We wanted to be accommodable hosts, I guess, right? So then what happened? Basically, at some point in time, you know, to be accommodable, one of us was going to have to like go do an errand real quick so that we can bring back what we needed for the event. So, not to be funny or anything like that, majority of the hosts were men. All right, majority of the hosts were men. I don't have a problem with that because majority of the hosts were basically, my guys' peoples, sort of. So, like I said, we was hosting an event. So it would have made sense if I would have just stayed, because one of us had to go to do this errand and come right back. So like it would make sense if I would have stayed and watched what everybody was doing in the vicinity and not just leave. But I don't know, something. I mean, I wasn't even thinking about all that. Like I'm thinking about it right now in regards to like you don't just leave where you at as the host of a get together and just like you know not thinking of any negative scenario. For real, it was really like my man said he was going to go do the errand, and it was just like I was just thinking like passenger princess. I want to get in the car too and go do the errand. Not thinking nothing of it. I think he kind of side eyed like shouldn't one of us stay and watch these people? But it's like why would you invite them? Like my mom, like I wouldn't invite nobody I don't trust around me. But the whole time I'm thinking I'm like well, there's cameras in the vicinity like. Or like it's not much a person can do. And I'm just like, it's not nothing too crazy in there for them to let you know. Long story short. But that's how I'm thinking now. But back then, a couple weeks ago, I wasn't thinking about all that. I was thinking about, oh my gosh, my guy said he wants to go do errands. I want to just go with him. So I went with him, and what I noticed very quickly before we went, although he was the host, everybody agreed that they was going to help pay for the things that we needed for the gathering, right? Can you have in the comment section talking about yo? Can you have a shout out? I don't know. That is so interesting. Anywho, so yeah, so he like, leadership, like everybody put in for what we need, and we'll be back. So not too many people had like, how would you say, chipped in. They didn't want to put money in for what was going on. There was like, and it was so interesting because all right, so it was so before I get to the part, it was so interesting because like it's so funny thinking back because basically we was doing like these we were making content and everything like that. It was kind of like a networking thing to see like who'd be a good fit candidate to do some networking or other, if we have even any more ideas or open positions as to like where they would fit in at, right? So like it was a whole thing. But like I remember like during like these interview questions, like my man was asking some really intrusive questions and I'm just looking like what the heck. But it was good, it's good for content. So I'm like, yo, this is a little out there and it's kind of like getting a certain mood going. So I'm like, whatever. All right, I wasn't really minding what they had going on, but then I had got bored. All right, let me see what's going on. And then when I get there, they like, well, my man was like, all right, do you want to ask any questions? Do you have any questions for them? Yeah, so like my man basically, he let me control the narrative, but I really didn't care to control the narrative because he was asking some really great questions to these guys in regards to if they had anything to contribute in regards to like visual content creation. So then it was like my guy was like, yeah, how about you try it out? Let's see from your point of view, like let me ask you some questions, whatever. So mind you, I'm just like, all right, whatever, cool. He started asking these specific questions, and I knew that my guy was asking me specific questions based on what he could have heard from somewhere else. Now, the why it was so funny to me is because prior to, I had a conversation with two people specifically. We're gonna get to why it's significant. I had a conversation with two people significantly prior 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 to this conversation I was having with my guy and the other um, people we were networking with, where they was asking a very suggestive question, and although I had the answer for what they were asking, I knew the intent was wrong, and I also knew what they were. Long story short, the question that these two men was trying to ask me about, I answered them correctly, but they didn't know that that's not in that. Like, how do I explain it? It's like somebody like, did you take out the trash today? And you be like, yeah, I took out the trash today, but I ain't say what kind of trash. It could have been paper, plastic. It could have been recyclable. Any variation, like you know what I'm saying. Like somebody asks you a specific question, but it's much more to the answer. So if you're 7 years old, get off of this chat. If you're 7 years old, in the comment section, get off of this chat, you weirdo. No shade, but you know you're not gonna be watching this type of content. Anyways, anyways. Yeah, look at you. Got the boys out here. I'm talking 5-0. Let's stop playing. We're gonna rebuke the negative energy because, like, obviously they trolling. Now, yeah, F out my face with that one. Now, long story short. Matter of fact, since y'all want to be talking silliness in the chat, let me say exactly. Let me say exactly what had happened, because I have a channel message just coming up where I get to talk about something I ain't get to talk about since what, April. I have something I didn't get to talk about that happened in April. So you know what? It don't even matter. So basically, I had a conversation with two colleagues of my man, right? And they was asking me about a threesome. Have you ever had a threesome before? This and the third. I'm not about to lie. I'm not about to just tell you some information like that, and I'm not sexually interested in you or nothing like that. But I did answer the question because I don't know. God was like, watch this. Like, God was like, watch this. I think the situation went too far, but basically I told them yes. But the thing is that they were so interested and so happy to know that information, but the whole time, even though I answered the question, the back of my, like, not the back of my mind, the whole time I knew what I said yes to was in regards to a previous assault. So take that how that resonates for anybody. So somebody was trying to ask me a suggestive question, being weird, knowing they're not supposed to ask me that question. Then when I answer and they thinking they sexual fantasies getting fulfilled the whole time, what you're really sexually fantasizing about a previous assault. Dang, ain't that deep. So back to what I was talking about. So at the event, me and my man hosting, he started asking suggestive questions, asking about threesomes. So I'm like, all right, it was months in between that. Like, it's almost not a month. It was a year in between that question was asked from them two significant people. So I'm like, either he really want to know something like that, but in my mind, I'm like, somebody said to this man, possibly the colleague, to make him even ask such a blatant question like that. The whole time, and that sound is going to come into play. Just wait, because we getting somewhere with the channel message. Remember that sound, because it's gonna make sense by the time I get to the part of the message I'm talking about. So when he asking them questions, I automatically start thinking, yeah, I answered the same question basically to the colleagues, and I know them to like be gossipers. So but because of the scenario, they would do stuff like they would collect information from me or my partner, and then they'll wait months to a year at a time, and then try to use the information like. So like, I already knew. So like, I wasn't mad or anything like that. I was kind of like, whoa, but I was just like, all right. So my answer still stood the same. It was like, I'm not into threesomes. I'm like, why would I want to share my person with somebody else? I'm not. So as soon as I said that, like, my man just, like, I don't know, the way he responded, he just turned off. He turned off the interview and everything. He was just like, oh, like, because, like, it's like he was expecting me to say something else based on possibly what somebody else had told him, them colleagues, right? And then when the answers started going a different direction, it was like, all right, I heard all I need to hear. Keep that in mind. So going back to what I was saying, me and my man had to go do some errands and come back to the networking event that we were hosting, right? Everybody had to put in for what we was bringing to the event, like money. So like a lot of the people who was showboating, acting like they had the most bread or whatever the case may be, they were the main ones quick to be like, no, they don't got it. And it's like, all right. I'm like, that's so crazy because, like, I'm not saying you can't, like, be proud of having money or not, but it's like these niggas that be trying to act and flex like they got it. And they might does, but, like, at that moment, they ain't have it or they didn't want to give. And I'm like, all right, noted. Nah, no, all right. Because how we, if me and my partner invite people over to see who's gonna be a good fit to do like digital content creation, and you're not going to put nothing in, you just want to be a part. All right, noted. We'll remember that for what events and such. We'll need a person or people for. You know. So now that we're going to go before we went to go get the errands, one particular person I will remember actually help out. There's somebody I actually at one point previously wanted to work with. I won't say now, but like never say never. I don't know about all that. But he is Sagittarius, right? This guy Sagittarius. He put money up, but like, I'm thinking he was gonna give cash. See, this is my mind, not old school, but I'm thinking about give cash or whatever like that. But everybody's like exchanging, on these apps where you can do like the money transfers and stuff like that, wherever, right? I'm thinking my man was just going to handle it and they was all going to give it to him. He started telling them no, send the money to her. So like I ain't gonna hold you, I ain't gonna hold you. That was a good response. That is having a man that don't mind. Like symbolically, that was just good. So I was just like, all right, whatever. I didn't mind it. So the Sagittarius sent me some money, and then so the another person, whatever, right? We go do the errand. I didn't know where my guy was gonna go get these items from. I'll say that, right? And then I started seeing the location. Now, there's nothing wrong per se with the location where he got what he needed to get the stuff from. But I just noticed, like, and mind you, why as soon as we went to go do this errand, it started raining. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know what they say, like, rain washes, like, sins away. Oh my gosh. I have never seen a dog try to attack rodents before. I'm outside right now, y'all, obviously. I just seen a dog chase a rodent. Oh my goodness. And they was just scattering. God forbid on my life. Like, that's too much. Now, like I was saying, so the environment, so like, all right, the environment is just so interesting. The environment we had to go through to get to the location where we was at, it's not a fond memory that I have because like of the location in general. Because the moral of that location was choose your friends wisely, and also if someone needs help, make sure they're not the person who caused the problem. Because it was a previous scenario where I was friends with somebody and they caused their own problem, and because I was thinking I was doing an act of kindness, I got into a situation that put me in a bad predicament. And I was just like, this is previously though, this is like more than a decade ago. So I'm just like, dang. But it was also romantic because I'm just like, wow, like in the past, this was like a bad endeavor in regards to something I did previously, but like, being with my man, and then, we were doing something together. It like if I told you what we were doing in the rain, it was like, y'all, it was like 360 type, not deal, not 360 deal, but it was cute. Like basically how things turned around in that moment, like so we go handle that. We get back to where we got to the host of the working event and whatever, right? But like the whole time, it felt like when we were doing that errand to as host of the party, it felt like we was like on a mission or something like that. Like it was so funny, so interesting, so weird at the same time. Cause it was just like, yo, this really felt like a mission right now that we're doing. So, anywho's, why is this important, right? So a few weeks go by, and basically few things had went on, but I had like the last conversation I had with the Sagittarius that day from the networking event is that I wanted to collab. I want to invite him to a collab, and if y'all know me, I don't do collabs like that. Not to be like too headstrong, not to be stubborn, not to think I'm better or less than the next person. It's just like something I just don't do as often, really now. So for me to like be like, yo, I want to network. The person was even like, I like what you got going on. Yes, let's do it. But then it was a scenario because I was like dating my man, like me and my man dating. I didn't really want too many people in my business, especially with, what I have going on and stuff like that. What I be doing. So basically, keeping things on the vibe. You don't want to just put your relationship out there for people to not wishing no negativity, honestly. So, anyways, anyways. So it was a scenario that happened where I realized, in regards of me and my guy's partnership, that this Sagittarius wasn't fully on board per se. Even if they was acting like they wasn't really with it. So that's violation, That's violation because it's like, all right, but I could be misinterpreting it, but I don't think so. I really don't think so because then right after that, I had called my energy back, like it because it wasn't like it was other people involved, but like it was for me. It's like how can I have a good conversation, networking conversation with somebody who try to play in my face? It's not happening. So I literally called my energy back that same day. Within the week, I seen the Sagittarius in public, and what did I do? I ignored that man like I ain't know who that was. I ignored that man like I ain't know who that was. I was like, dang. I wasn't like, dang. He was like, dang. Because the same guy who was at the networking event that didn't want to put no money up, or maybe didn't have the money at the time, or just didn't want to, whatever it may be, that was there with the Sagittarius, he done pulled up in a car. Sagittarius popped out, and I was acting like I ain't never seen them ever in my life. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people. Like, if like I'm not gonna fake if I like you or not. I'm just not. I'm just not gonna talk to you. So they was like standing around looking like you're not gonna say nothing to me, like because I got like, and it was so interesting because it was just like if I would have spoke to this person, then we it would have been like some. I knew it would have been some like chatter and some talk, and things probably could have got resolved and or quicker, and then I could have like, but I already know that person has a depressive energy on them, so I'm just like no, just like no. I just rather not. I don't mind, like because sometimes people make you feel like you're missing out on something and you're really not. So this is where it gets interesting. So right after that, all right. So right after that, I'm like, peep game. All right, mind you. So fast forward, a few more weeks go by, right? And I just like it was one particular night I won't forget. Like I started getting all these spiritual downloads. It's like God was really talking to me. God was having like God was just like, all right, this is what's going on. That's what happened last time. And I'm trying to keep the pace of like what's going on. So I'm like, all right, I heard you, God, I heard you, whatever. So then I was getting receiving all these spiritual downloads, and I was taking notes and all stuff like that. I didn't realize it was like early morning. So it was early morning, and I really wanted something from the store, but majority of the stores was closed. So it was one of them questions like, do I wait to a few more hours, or do I really want what I want right now? So I decided early morning I was gonna take the trip to the store. Start taking my start. I started taking this trip to the store. Mind you, everything that's happened, right? All like the road is clear. Everything seems alright. Then I just start hearing all these sirens, and I'm just like, what's going on? But not really. I didn't really care. But for the time it was in the morning, I'm just like, yo, what's going on this early in the morning? And remember I told you we had to go. Me and my man had to go do errands. As the host of that get together, that networking party, get together, whatever, right? Remember when I said the Sagittarius had to send me some money so we can go get the stuff? Y'all, what was I like? I ain't gonna hold you. I took a walk to the store. The store was a little far, but not too far. And it was a little early, so I didn't really want to do all that. So long story short, I'm walking. What is walking symbolic of? The embodiment of Sagittarius, right? Traveling. I start walking. I hear all these sirens. For a second, I'm like, what's going on? But I'm on some, like, it don't got nothing to do with me. Until I look up and I see this, like, it was, like, so far away, but so close. I seen, like, the ladder of, like, the fire truck going over this building. I'm like, ain't no way it's a building over there that caught on fire, because it's not really nothing over there for it to catch on fire, for real, for real. So I was just like, so that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to just look and see a little bit, see what's going on. This same building we went to go get the errands from, that they sent money in order for us to get the necessities for that networking event, caught on fire, damn near blew up. Oh, no shade, no shade. That is so insensitive to today, isn't it? But I don't know. Maybe like I apologized one time. I ain't gonna apologize twice. So yeah, so I was just like, isn't that ironic? Because I'm like, that was weird. So I went to go finish my errand. I came back. I did a prayer. I was praying and everything. Because I'm like, it's so ironic that the same people that we were interested in regards to doing business, the person who actually helped put the money in, was trying to be funny. And then I went to another place to do business technically, right? And then the other place we was getting the equipment or necessities from, it blew up. So that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. Take the message I resonate. So I was like, I ain't gonna ask no questions. I went home and start praying. Y'all, why? Like the next morning, like I get online social media, this Sagittarius talking about, man, these people not your friends and this, that, and the third, and I'm like, I'm like, something didn't happen somewhere else while he was too busy laughing. That's something that ain't really concern him to be laughing about. But it was just like, I'm like, so I just left the situation alone. So whatever. What does God do anything, you might ask? Because why I was so upset, mind you, I was telling you before I went to the store, like God was giving me all these like synchronicities, messages, telling me like what happened previously in a particular situation, what's happening now. Right before I seen that place of business blow up or catch on fire, right? I was talking to God about like two colleagues I previously worked with. One's a Gemini and one's a Taurus. So Taurus is regards of stability. Gemini regards of communication, and that's with any kind of person. So it was interesting because like it has something to also do with the other guy in regards to networking, because the people who the Taurus and the Gemini that asked that question early on, obviously I said Geminis are gossipers. So the Gemini and the Taurus previously, these are men, by the way. They was gossiping about something that they didn't really know the full story about. They tried to do something, gossip about, my relationship, and was thinking it was a joke. Just like the Sagittarius thought it was a joke until the building blew up, and now he having problems with his friends. Another Gemini kind of embodiment, because Aquarius is in regards to prediction. I'm like, isn't that interesting? Because I was like, why that building blowing up? Why it catch on fire? You hear? Why it catching on fire? Right? Because I already left that place. Right? Me and my partner had already left that place, but the Sagittarius had already gave us the money. So in regards to that, it's like, this is why I say Psalm 91. All that support me receives instant blessings. That man was supposed to receive a blessing, but because he couldn't change a certain type of behavior, possibly because of the people he be around, that could be a light to that Taurus and that Gemini in regards to, just not being the best of people. He thought it was funny to laugh at me and my relationship when we going on could be all because of pure happiness. Just to turn around and be sad and depressed about your friends? Your friends that's in connection with the Taurus and Gemini that... Alright. Not me. I'm just talking about those two men. So, there's something about... y'all want to know what I had got from the store that morning? When the building had caught on fire? That I didn't want to wait till early on for. I went to go get a vape. That is probably why that is in another platform's community guidelines. Like, no. Oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna mind my business. Anywho's. What does this all have to do with anything? I don't know. We about to get into it. So there's something about a mission. A mission that a couple missionary work. Missionary work, candidacy, Taurus, Gemini embodiments, air embodiments, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very significant. There's something about somebody not liking the word no. And there's a parallel message to that. It's something like, because remind you, the two men, the Taurus and the Gemini, they were trying to sexualize something that wasn't supposed to be sexualized, literally. And then there's another scenario I'm going to talk about later where, in regards to consent. And, there's something about someone doesn't like the word no. And then there's just that like, how you put it, we're thinking like, females usually in femininity is like, they don't like hearing the word no from their guy. Right? I want this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like that, or whatever the case may be. But so take the message however it is, whatever. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So what happened today, right? So I don't even know how to explain it, but basically I was about to go do an errand today, right? And right before I went to go do the errand, and the errand wasn't for me, it was for somebody actually important. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to go do this errand, whatever. I've been meaning to get to it, whatever the case may be. In regards to like keeping my energy, my mind, body, soul, spirit clean. And then all of a sudden, I'm about to, like, the person ain't talk to me all day, really. All of a sudden, the Aries going to talk. All right, so backstory. A day or two ago, I went to the store, and it's like God blessed me because, like, one of my favorite fruits, I don't even know how to explain this. One of my favorite fruits that should have been in season for the summertime appeared out of nowhere. at one of local shopping centers, right? So I got so happy, I got um a good amount of said fruit, right? I was gonna keep it for myself. I was happy about it. I just knew like that's one of my ways. Like that's one of the ways God lets me know, like He sees what I'm doing. Like it's like the way He want to treat me, right? Because He knows one of my favorite fruits. I don't eat it all the time. It's not hard to find exactly, but kind of like it's not always in season. So the fact that like it just appeared out of nowhere, and the things I was doing in regards to like what God was telling me to do in regards to career and stuff like that, I'm just like yes, I'm like, all right, on the right path. So I got in multitude, right? Because God gives a multitude. He gives us things, especially when we're doing what we're supposed to. So I don't know. I have found out some information about this Aries, right? And it's one of them scenarios where it's just like I already know how this person is. That don't make it any. That don't mean like their bad behavior is tolerable. It just means that I learned to understand the person is just who they is, and and not be ignorant to that, right? So the Aries, Aries is a mother figure. The Aries like see me about to go to the long story short. So basically, I gave the Aries some of my fruit the other day, without thinking. I didn't like. I was just like, let me give her some, whatever the case would be, because I felt like she was going to ask regardless. So I was like, I already got a multitude. I don't mind sharing a little bit. Here you go. I'm thinking my mind don't ask me for no more. Obviously. So basically, the next day, y'all, that is today. The next day, mind you, this person is an Aries mother figure. Mind you, is 9/11. No fun, not to even be funny, right? Not to even be funny. Gonna ask me to get her some more of the fruit. I didn't even finish eating my fruit yet. So I'm like automatically, I know like like whether directly or indirectly, I know you're trying to take from me. So I'm like, oh nah. I said it so firm. I was like, no, because it's just like you wouldn't even know the fruit existed or whatever the case would be if I didn't like give you any. Like you wouldn't even know. Like I remember the person was like, oh yeah, what is it called? Like oh my gosh. I'm just like, you wouldn't have known what it was called. You wouldn't have known it was in season supposedly. You wouldn't know I had like it like in my possession. It was just like for real. I told the person no. So I went to go do my errands for the day, whatever case may be, because I had to do something important for somebody, right? And I had an interesting conversation with one of the guys in the store, and it was like a parallel of two different guys, and it was so interesting. It was like this southern guy. It was like, mind you, they both African American. One guy, he gave me like he kind of creepy. Like it was like an old guy that like in his feminine energy, but like he was giving like he a creep behind the scenes or something like that. Like I don't know. It's just like he gave me a weird vibe. Anywho's, but then the other guy, he was cool. He cool to an extent, like, cause he was like, "Oh, where you been?" He said, "I haven't seen you since every other month of Sundays." I'm like, "What?" I have never heard that terminology before, right? Hold on. So I started talking to him. I like sayings and like clever things like that. So I'm like, "What do you mean every other month of Sundays?" He's like, "It's been a few weeks. I haven't seen you. What can it be?" He's like, I was like, I understand that one. That's cute. That's cute. I like that one. I might start using it. I was like, tell me another one. He said, yeah, something about elbows and ass. Ooh, I don't know if I can say that. Elbows and ass holes, right? I was like, oh no, you're gonna have to explain that one. So he's saying basically elbows and ass holes is a terminology, a saying people use in regards to you moving so fast, all you see is your elbows and your rear side, like your buttocks, So I'm just like, oh, this is actually interesting. But then I know the elbows to mean something else for me because it's kind of like a key word. Like how like a secret code word. It's not like elbows is definitely a secret code word. You hear that? Cause listen, I used to have a classmate back in the day that gave me the nickname elbows. You wanna wonder? You wanna wonder why? Do you want to wonder why? I don't know. So now you're wondering if you've been listening since the beginning of the message, right? As you should have been. Why did I say the title of the message is supposed to be grasshoppers, right? Because after I had that wonderful conversation with that guy, I left the vicinity of that store, and as soon as I walked outside, guess what I saw? A grasshopper, and it spooked me because y'all, if y'all from the country, whatever the case may be, I have never in my life, even of hearing with my own ears, the grasshopper sound. I have never seen a grasshopper in real life. I've seen the praying mantis before, but that was years ago. But when I seen the grasshopper, I was like, what? Automatically like, no, this is a sign. What does that mean? Not to be like one of those before, like, I've never seen one in real life before, so it was like a big thing. So, although you should go look what the spiritual meaning of a grasshopper is. That might have something to do with something. But what's so interesting is that, excuse me. What's so interesting is that, grasshoppers, what do we know about them? They jump very far, being able to travel very quickly. So so far, even with the analogy of what the conversation I had with that guy is like, so something about your personal business or like business related to your career. It's like somebody tried to take your happiness in regards to your personal business. Like somebody could have like wanted to gossip about you, or somebody could have wanted to involve you in some sort of drama to make you unhappy, especially in regards to if you're in a relationship. Then in regards to business, it's like somebody could have probably wanted to take from you or try to take your business. It's one of those. Somebody could have tried to take your business or something to that extent. Oh. And it was just going to be an unfavorable situation if that was to happen, right? So basically, it's like just like at the event Uno reverse, that person that wanted that for you, does not have any. There you go. The person that wanted that for you, obviously it didn't work out in their favor because the intention was bad the whole time. So now thinking back to the conversation when this guy was like, he said he hadn't seen me every other month of Sundays, and then he explained what that meant. Like basically, he ain't seen me for a long time. So this could have been somewhere you had traveled to. It could have been a Sagittarius, or like maybe something in regards to parenting, and maybe something in regards to something somebody said to you. Like obviously, like maybe you haven't seen or spoke to somebody in a while, right? And they're just happy to see you. But then, and this is what's going on while, in regards to your enemies, it's not going so good for them. The whole elbows to ASS holes and this fast-paced movement in regards to the Aries embodiment, in regards to your personal business or your career, fast-paced movement. It's like the haters, the enemies, whatever you want to call it, the ops, basically, they see that you're prosperous. Blessings are coming in. Remind you, when this message started, it was 2 construction men that brought in 2 doors. So doors are symbolic of miracles, walking into blessings. So while your enemies try to delay or derail you from that, obviously that back to sender went right back to him. You probably didn't even notice. You probably didn't even care. You probably were just like, not surprised, not shocked. But in regards to you, it's like the opposite kind of behavior, because like the people who try to come to you as enemies, whether directly or indirectly, when they see you, when they look at you, they think that like, this person is progressing pretty quickly. This person is getting blessed. This person is walking into those doors of miracles, right? And blessings. So it's all about perception. And the thing about this, the thing is very significant. It's like, from that conversation I had with that guy, he was like, I haven't seen you since every other month is Sundays. You know, Sunday is in symbolic of Leo. Leo embodiments African Americans, a man, what else? The entertainment industry or entertainer. So this could have something to do with that, where I'm not saying slow and steady wins the race. I didn't even have any mention of a race in this message, but it's just like, this is the perception of the people that try to come against you. Like they feel like you just do things a certain way, or you receive blessings a little quicker than them, or that's just how they perceive it. But a whole time doing just fine. I don't know what that someone doesn't like the word no thing is, but we'll talk about that another day. That's a chill message. I told y'all I wasn't gonna be nothing too crazy.